Have you ever pondered why, despite a lifetime of experience, wisdom, and sacrifice, so many seniors find themselves overlooked, underestimated, or even disrespected in today's world? It's a harsh truth. Society often fails to value its elders the way it should, but the good news is, it doesn't have to stay that way. This is not just about being polite or kind, it's about dignity. It's about reclaiming the respect that should naturally accompany age. And it begins with understanding why this problem exists and how you can flip the script. Before we dive in, if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you hit that button and turn on the bell so you never miss another health tip made just for you. If you enjoy this video, type 1 in the comments. If not, type 0 to let me know how I can make better content for you. 1. A culture obsessed with youth. In today's world, youth is glorified in every corner of society. Turn on the TV, scroll through social media, or even walk into most stores, what you'll see is a constant stream of messages celebrating younger faces, faster lifestyles, and fleeting trend-bonds. Aging, in contrast, is often portrayed as something to hide, fix, or fear. Wrinkles are seen as flaws, gray hair as something to be covered, and slower movements as signs of weakness. This cultural mindset runs deep, and unfortunately, it sends a damaging message that older adults are less relevant, less capable, and less worthy of attention. This obsession with youth has quietly pushed many seniors to the margins. Even those who have spent decades building careers, raising families, contributing to communities, now find themselves overlooked in conversations, underestimated in decisions, and undervalued in daily life. It's not that they've lost their strength or wisdom, it's that the world has stopped looking for it. You might notice it when someone speaks to you as if you're fragile, or when your opinion is passed over in favor of a younger voice. It can feel subtle at first, but over time, these experiences accumulate, and without realizing it, many seniors begin to internalize this disrespect. They stop asserting themselves. They stop showing up as fully as they once did. Not because they want to, but because they've been made to feel like they no longer belong in the spotlight. But here's the truth. Age is not a decline, it's a deepening. Each wrinkle tells a story, each gray hair carries wisdom, and each slower step holds a kind of patience the world desperately needs. Seniors are not outdated. They are the foundation. They are living proof that endurance, resilience, and perspective can only be earned over time. The culture may be obsessed with youth, but it's time to rewrite the script. And it starts with how you carry yourself, how you speak, and how you remind the world that your value has only grown. And that brings us to something just as powerful, something many overlook, yet it instantly changes how others see you the moment you walk into a room. Ready to discover it? Let's talk about presence and the quiet strength it holds. 2. Losing the voice that commands respect. As people age, something subtle but profound often begins to happen. They start to pull back, sometimes without even realizing it. Over the years, life's changes can quietly chip away at one's confidence. Retirement, the loss of certain responsibilities, or feeling outpaced by new technologies can lead many seniors to retreat into the background. They speak less in conversations, hesitate to share their opinions, and second-guess their instincts. But the most dangerous part, when others notice that withdrawal, they begin to treat it as confirmation that you no longer have something important to say. This is how the voice that once commanded a household, led a team, or inspired others slowly fades, not because it has lost its power, but because it stopped being used. And in a world that rewards boldness and visibility, silence is often mistaken for weakness. The more quietly you live, the easier it becomes for others to overlook you. The problem isn't that you've become less wise, less capable, or less valuable. The problem is that you've been conditioned to believe your time to lead or be heard has passed. But here's the truth. Your voice is still there. It hasn't disappeared. It's simply waiting for permission to rise again. And that permission doesn't come from the world around you. It comes from within. When you begin to speak again with purpose, when you hold your head high, and when you let your words carry the weight of your lived experience, people notice. Respect is drawn to strength, not noise, and nothing is stronger than a calm, clear voice rooted in truth and time-tested wisdom. Now is the moment to reclaim your space in conversations, to speak up even when others expect you to stay silent, and to use your voice not to demand attention, but to deserve it. Because once you do, the way people respond to you will change. They will lean in, they will listen, they will remember. But there's something even more powerful than your voice, something that requires no words at all. It's a shift in presence that instantly alters how others see you even before you speak. Curious what it is? Let's explore the power of your presence and how it quietly commands respect. 3. Changing roles that affect identity. One of the most challenging parts of growing older isn't physical. It's the emotional shift that comes when your roles in life begin to change. For decades, your identity may have been built around being a provider, a parent, a leader, a problem solver. You were the one others looked to for answers, for direction, for support. But then retirement arrives, children grow up and move on. Your calendar becomes less demanding, and suddenly the roles that once defined you no longer hold the same place in your daily life. This shift can feel disorienting. Without those roles, it's easy to wonder, who am I now? And when that question goes unanswered for too long, it can begin to affect how you see yourself and eventually how others see you. People may begin to treat you as though you've stepped off the stage, as if your part in the play has ended and now you're simply in the audience, watching life happen instead of living it. But here's the truth that so many forget. Identity is not fixed. It doesn't retire when you do. It evolves. And you have every right, every opportunity to shape who you are today, no matter what roles have changed. You're not just a former teacher, parent, or business owner. You're a person with a lifetime of experiences, lessons, and strengths that can still be shared and lived out in new ways. This is your time to rediscover yourself, not by holding on to who you were, but by embracing who you still are and who you can become. You can mentor, you can create, you can lead in new ways. When you shift your mindset from used to be to still can be, everything changes. And people around you start responding not to your past title, but to your present strength. And speaking of strength, there's something else shaping the way others treat you, something so subtle, most people don't realize it's happening. It's not in what they say, but how they act toward you, and it's affecting your dignity every single day. Let's talk about the unconscious bias that influences how society sees seniors and how you can rise above it. 4. Unconscious bias in everyday interactions. There's a kind of bias that hides in plain sight. It doesn't always sound cruel and it doesn't always look obvious. In fact, it often comes disguised as helpfulness, politeness, or even kindness. It's the unconscious bias that many people carry when interacting with seniors without ever realizing it. Maybe you've noticed it. Someone assumes you need help crossing the street before you ask. A cashier speaks more slowly, thinking you can't understand. A younger family member steps in to explain something you already know perfectly well. These small behaviors may seem harmless on the surface, but over time they deliver a very clear message. You're not seen as capable or in control or equal. This bias isn't always intentional. In many cases, people believe they're being supportive, but when assumptions are made based solely on your age, it's a quiet form of disrespect. It robs you of autonomy, dignity, and voice. Even worse, when it happens repeatedly, it can begin to affect how you see yourself. You might start to question your abilities, hesitate before speaking up, or allow others to make choices for you. Not because you want them to, but because the world has slowly trained you to step aside. But you don't have to accept that. The way to challenge unconscious bias is not by getting angry or defensive, but by showing up with clarity and calm authority. Speak with certainty. Move with intention. Let your actions remind others that age is not a weakness, it's a strength. The more you confidently claim your space in the world, the harder it becomes for others to misjudge or underestimate you. You are not fragile. You are not invisible. You are more than capable. And the world needs to be reminded. And while bias can quietly chip away at your presence, there's something even more powerful that can restore it instantly. It's not about speaking louder, but rather learning the silent strategy that the most respected people in the world use every single day. Let's now uncover the simple yet transformative technique that shifts how others see you the moment you walk into a room. How to change the way people treat you, starting today. Changing the way people treat you doesn't require a miracle, a speech, or a confrontation. It begins with small but powerful shifts in the way you present yourself to the world. Many seniors don't even realize the influence they still hold because they've been conditioned by society to believe that their best days are behind them. But the truth is, respect isn't something you're given automatically. It's something you inspire with how you show up, how you speak, and how you carry yourself. And it can start today. First, understand that presence matters. The way you walk into a room, the way you hold yourself, and the energy you bring, it all speaks louder than words. When you carry yourself with confidence, people notice. Walk with intention, stand tall, not hunched. Look people in the eye. These are not just physical adjustments, they are messages. They say, I'm still here, I matter, and I won't be dismissed. The more you project strength in your posture, the less likely people are to overlook you. Next, slow down your speech. Many people, especially when they feel uncertain or want to be accepted, rush their words. But powerful people, leaders, experts, decision makers, they don't talk fast. They speak slowly, deliberately, and with control. When you pause before responding, you give your words weight. You show that you're not desperate to be heard because you expect to be. That expectation changes everything. People lean in. They listen. They sense your value without you having to demand it. You also need to stop asking for permission to take up space. Too often, older adults fall into the habit of minimizing themselves, apologizing for speaking, deferring to younger voices, or quietly backing away from attention. But why? You've lived through more than most. You've earned the right to be heard. Stop second-guessing your presence. You don't need anyone's approval to be valid. Your life experience is more than enough. Another way to shift how others treat you is to engage with the world around you. Curiosity doesn't fade with age. It's a habit you can choose to keep alive. Stay interested, ask questions, learn new things. People respect those who are mentally engaged regardless of age. When you keep growing, you show others that you haven't stopped evolving, and that challenges the stereotype that older adults are stuck in the past. Just as important is your emotional energy. People are drawn to those who radiate calm confidence. When you stop chasing attention and instead focus on controlling your energy, others feel it. They begin to follow your pace. They start mirroring your mood. Emotional presence, your ability to stay grounded, patient, and thoughtful, becomes a magnet. And this doesn't come from speaking louder or doing more. It comes from knowing who you are and choosing to let that speak for you. There's also strength in boundaries. You don't have to accept being spoken over, interrupted, or dismissed. You can assert your value without raising your voice. A simple, firm response like, "Please let me finish," or "I have something to add," delivered calmly, reminds others that you deserve the same respect they expect for themselves. It's not confrontation, it's clarity. And finally, understand that how others treat you will always mirror how you treat yourself. If you respect your time, your body, your words, and your worth, others will begin to follow suit. If you constantly put yourself last, minimize your needs, or allow people to disrespect your space, then that becomes the standard. But if you decide today that you deserve more and you act in alignment with that belief, things will begin to shift. You don't need to be louder. You don't need to be younger. You don't need to become someone else. You just need to stop shrinking. Stop hiding. Stop waiting for someone else to tell you that you matter. Because the moment you believe it, the world will too. And once you reclaim that power, people will treat you not just differently, but with the deep respect you've always deserved. The final word, reclaiming your worth. The truth is, growing older in today's world isn't always easy. Society doesn't always see you for who you are. Too often, it sees a number instead of a name, an age instead of a story. It overlooks your value, forgets your experience, and misjudges your strength. But that doesn't mean you have to accept it. You have more power than you realize, not just to influence how others treat you, but to reshape how you see yourself. Yes, we live in a culture obsessed with youth. Yes, the world has a habit of silencing those who grow quieter over time, and yes, changing roles, unconscious bias, and shrinking confidence can all take their toll. But none of those things are greater than your ability to rise above them. You are not defined by your age, your job title, or how others used to see you. You are defined by how you choose to show up now. Every single day gives you a chance to stand tall, speak clearly, and remind the world that you are still here, still wise, still capable, and still becoming. You don't need to chase attention or force people to listen. All it takes is a pause, a steady gaze, and the quiet strength of someone who knows their worth. When you slow down, speak with intention, and live with purpose, people respond. They begin to respect you not just for what you've done, but for who you are right now. So let the world feel your presence again. Let them see the fire in your eyes, the calm in your voice, and the dignity in your posture. You've earned every wrinkle, every gray hair, every lesson. Let them count for something. Let them shine. Because the moment you decide you matter, the world will follow. It always does. Respect doesn't fade with age. It deepens if you're willing to claim it. This is not the end of your story. This is your chance to live it louder, fuller, and with more presence than ever before. Let today be the day you begin. These lessons are meant to inspire you to live fully and authentically. Now, I'd love to hear from you. Take a moment to reflect and share one thing you've learned and plan to apply in your own life. Let's support each other on this journey toward embracing these truths. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a comment with 1. If not, feel free to comment with 0. Your feedback means a lot to us. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more content like this. Thank you for watching, and here's to living life on your own terms.